leopard, look. These impala just started alarm calling, and we found a leopard. Let's see now. I wonder if this is perhaps Tingana, because he was in this area yesterday, not too far. Wow, what a surprise. What a surprise. Perfect timing. As I was talking about the impala, they helped us find this leopard. Very, very alert. Let's see. Oh, that is awesome. There he goes. What a great surprise. So as I was saying, there's so many animals in the clearings, and that helps them see a potential predator. Now, what I'd like to show you is just have a look here. Hold on. Let me just reposition. I want you to see the behavior of the impala and the wildebeest. Have a look at that off to my right. All snorting, and look how they're running towards the leopard. They've actually come closer. Now, the reason for that is they want to keep an eye on him. They do not want to allow this leopard the element of surprise. So they all run a lot closer. Keep an eye on him. And you can probably hear the snorting at the moment. So I'm going to keep quiet for a second. A lot of noise, a lot of noise. Oh, well, look at that. That is fantastic. What a great surprise. And he's going in the right direction. He's going away from the drainage line. So we should have a lovely view. There are some other people around here, which is awesome. So some other guests getting to see him. Now he's moving through. He's just trying to, I think, stay on the edge of the thicket line. Just try and keep away from these impala as much as possible. But, I mean, you can hear them. They are going wild at the moment. Those alarm calls, all to try and get that leopard to move away. All right, well, I'm going to try and get another view and follow this leopard for a while. Let's go to Ali, who's got some more Ellies. Well, yep, he's moving through some thick bush at the moment, though. But we're going to get another view of him soon. I think he's going to come out towards this road. Let's have a look. He's turning around. He's heading up and down a little bit. I can just see him. Just stick with us, though. We will get a view of him now very shortly. Let's see if I go down here, maybe. As I said, there are some obviously guests around here too that are on safari, so this is very exciting for them too. Let's see which way he's gone. Hold on, we'll get a view of him shortly, I'm sure. It would be wonderful if he decided to come and lie on top of a termite mound. It would make it a lot easier for us. Where did he go now? You see him, Senzo? No, he's coming. I see him. He's behind that vehicle. I just caught a glimpse of him. He's walking. He's coming back towards the clearing. I think this leopard's trying to avoid the clearing because of all the other animals that are on it. So he doesn't want to draw even more attention to himself. There's a squirrel that's busy alarm calling currently up in one of those trees. And that also draws more attention to him. So I think he's trying to get away from all of that. Let's just see. Robin, mortality rates of leopards in this area, That's quite difficult. I don't think it's very high. Generally, the leopards do quite well, and they are fairly successful. However, Robin, the thing is, I suppose the mortality rate is increased in cubs. So, and the reason for that is because females perhaps are unable to raise more than 1 or 2 cubs. I've seen leopards that have given birth to 3 cubs, but usually they don't all survive, which is, it's I suppose it's a given. It's understandable because, hold on, we can get a nice view of him. It's understandable. There we go. Sensei, is that all right? Yeah, that's a lovely view. Look, standing, having a look around. So, Robin, the thing is, it's difficult for a single female to raise 3 cubs. Oh, beautiful. I'm just going to reverse slightly. Hold on. Just a little bit. And you'll get a beautiful view through there, I think, Senzo. How's that? Wonderful. Robin, the thing is, as I was saying, the female raising cubs, it's very difficult. So 2 or 3 cubs is not always that common, but it can occur. I think with adults, unless it's males that, I'm trying to think, unless males that are fighting for territory, that may kill each other, but that also doesn't happen often. Usually in a fight, a leopard just gets pushed out. It doesn't really kill the other one. A lot of branches in the way. I do apologize, but we'll stick with him for a while, and I'm sure we'll get a nice view. The canine nutritionist. The leopards climb trees for a number of reasons. So, for safety, to get out of the way of other predators like lion or hyena. Oh, look at that, beautiful. So that would be one reason. The other reason is to perhaps get a vantage point, to have a look across a clearing and to rest in a tree. From time to time, they do like to rest up in a tree, especially on a hot day. We might have a nice cool breeze. And actually, let me try and move forward slightly here. Just over there, sense that might be a bit better. There we go. And so to rest up in trees, and then also the reason that we all know is to get a kill away from predators. So leopards hoist their kills into trees. The reason for that is not many of the other predators can climb very well. Look, the lions can climb trees, but not as well as a leopard can. So if they can get their kill up into a tree, they can save it and finish their kill, and they don't have to lose it to another predator. Oh, an elephant trumpeting behind us. All right, well, let's see. I'm going to try and change our position here quickly. And just let these other vehicles move. Oh, there we go. Hold on. We've got a lovely view of him over here. Just off to the side. See, now he's scanning the clearing. Now, this is exactly where the impala were. And he's just scanning. I wonder if he's not looking. Is there potential food around? He's a very experienced hunter, this male leopard, a nice old male leopard. And I think he's just scanning, seeing if he can use this wind to his advantage, perhaps, to try and hunt something. Paula, you know what? It doesn't happen often that leopards go after fish or terrapins, but they do, and especially in times of, I'd say drought perhaps, or when they're maybe not being successful with their hunts. Then occasionally, like those catfish are a bit easier to hunt in dried up mud wallows or dams. I've seen leopards go and grab catfish out of there. Terrapins too, older leopards. I've seen old leopards try and feed on tortoises, which is not easy at all, given the very hard carapace. But terrapins too. We saw those young leopards, was it Karula's cubs, Hosanna and Shungile, when they were kind of not necessarily pushed out, but when they had to fend for themselves, when Karula disappeared, then those young leopards weren't quite, I'd say, experienced in terms of hunting, and they've found little terrapins, and a number of times we found them feeding on terrapins. Not a particularly nice meal, I don't think. Terrapins smell terrible. Well, this really is a great surprise to see. Sorry. Dear. Nice surprise to see this leopard moving through. Yep. We've got a lovely view of this male now. He's lying right on top of a termite mound, and it's really interesting and quite, I suppose it makes sense though, but the amount of times we see leopards lying on top of termite mounds, and watch how he's scanning. He's looking straight at us now. Isn't that wonderful? And he's just scanning. It's nice and cool, so this leopard is still going to be active, I think, for quite some time. Move around, potentially look for some food. He looked a little hungry. Starlight, now, I'm not sure. This is the first time I've seen Tingana on this trip of mine. So we'd have to ask Tristan and Ali, who saw him more recently, if he has been scent marking. I don't know. Listen to that wind. So I'm scent mark once. Some elephant trumpeting in the background. Quite far. Maybe it's just a young elephant potentially wanting milk from its mother. Often those youngsters get quite upset if their mother doesn't allow them to suckle. I think that's what that sound was. One or two Franklin's alarm calling at this leopard. Just behind him. Ashton, you know what? I do think prey species would identify different predators by their scent. I'm sure they recognize the scent of a leopard, or the scent of a lion, or scent of a wild dog, because they are all different. So I'm almost certain they can recognize the smell of a predator. Well, I mean, they definitely recognize the difference in predator. For example, the impala with the leopard, you saw that reaction. They all started alarm calling. They ran towards the leopard, and they tried to keep an eye on him because they know they are ambush predators. If they can see him, there's no danger. Now, with wild dog, for example, the impala react completely differently. They maybe give one or two alarm calls, and then they just run. They do not stay around and keep an eye on the wild dog, because the wild dog run them down. So, obviously, depending on the predator's technique, hunting technique, that depends on how the prey species react, which I find fascinating. Looks like he's got quite a few ticks on him at the moment, unfortunately. To distinguish each different leopard from one another. They are all different. They're individuals. They're not, how shall I put it, copy-paste. Each one is unique, which is wonderful and fascinating that all those rosettes are different. I'm so glad we're in a wonderful position now. It's nice and open. We've got a clear view of this leopard. I'm glad we decided to come down to Chitwa this morning to see what we could potentially find. And I didn't think it would be that easy. As we arrived, we were chatting about the impala and they alarmed at the leopard. It's funny, I get really excited and very, very happy when we find our own predators. So like finding leopards. The other day in the rain we found Tundi, which was really exciting. And then to get here now and see the impala alarm called, because you know what, we probably wouldn't have spotted him if they didn't alarm call, because we were all myself and Senzo were watching the impala. Luckily, they saw him. So that's the thing. You constantly have to be on the lookout for signs in the bush. Animals will help you find what you're looking for. It's just a case of being patient and understanding what to look for. This is a photographer's dream, I think, with this leopard being out in the open. Jewel Joy, the heaviest prey I have seen a leopard pull up into a tree, a buffalo calf and a young zebra. Also a young zebra. Now that both those were pulled up by that Anderson male, that massive leopard. Yeah, zebra foal and giraffe. Yeah, the young giraffe I think was also fairly big. I mean, that's not a small animal. So I'm going to try to stay with Tingana for a little while longer. I know there are other people that might want to get to see this leopard, but let's go across to Ali and just to see how her morning's going. But they are kind of skittish, and Tingana is watching them very, very closely, but they're running through. It's almost as if they can sense that there is a predator. They didn't see him because they didn't stop to alarm call at him. I think they just ran through a bit too quickly. And unfortunately, he was on this termite mound. It's very open around him, so the chances of him actually stalking and trying to get one, very, very slim. Unless he was lying in the thicket there, then he would have probably had a chance. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate that he didn't get an opportunity there. It was close. It was very close. They were heading this way. But I think with the wind swirling a bit, maybe they picked up on the scent, and they know moving through these thick areas they want to get to the clearing as quickly as possible, and they ran straight through. just want to see. I think there are a few other vehicles that want to come through, so I might make space for them. We've had a lovely view, and what we can do is just see maybe later, once everyone else has seen this leopard, then we can always try come back and get a last view, and also try this afternoon. As I was saying, this is a photographer's dream, a beautiful image of this leopard on the termite mound. There's a nice dark background with the trees behind him, and we're eye level with him at the moment, so you get really wonderful, wonderful images. And I left my camera back at camp. Can you believe it? That's okay. It's okay. Now, there were also some elephant that made their way down to drink. I think they've moved off already. Small herd of elephant. So there's so much going on here down at the dam. First lady, I think these big male leopards have dewlaps. Mainly to protect the neck, probably. There's a bit of loose skin around there and a bit of fat to protect the neck and the head from fights when they do fight with one another. But also there's a lot of muscle around that neck area and the shoulders and the head. It's a large part of the leopard. It's potentially also to make them look a little bit bigger, so that they're able to defend their territory against other males. Often it's a show more than an actual fight. Salivating, growling, baring teeth, posturing. Try and get the other leopard, whoever is challenging him, to try and move away.